When father-in-law collected Magda from Bambi's, she escaped the hotel, drove from South New Jersey to upstate New York to Renee's house. She's on the lam. She's done it again.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies. It's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much. People really actually seem to enjoy Malicious Magda the last time around. The views went like way better than I expected them to with EntitledParents. But to be fair, Magda is an exceptional case of entitlement. So we'll roll on through. We'll keep it going. And we'll see what sort of shenanigans she can get up to this time. Let's get into it. Magda visits her adult grandchildren. What do you mean they have a mind of their own? Last time on My Mother-in-Law's a Psycho A-Hole, she tried to buy my youngest son a new piano and my still gestating fetus a suite of unnecessarily expensive nursery furniture. Where's she getting this money? That's what I want to know. Is Magda into the drug game, huh? I refused delivery. She came over to yell. My nephew turned the garden hose on her when she wouldn't leave, and he got a lot of water inside her car, but she did indeed leave. If you need a recap of all that in depth, links in the description. I suspected that my father-in-law didn't know that she just dropped that kind of money, which, yeah, he did not. And this brings us to yesterday. My brother-in-law, too, husband and father-in-law to the flying monkeys Magda brought with her to yell at me, leaves a panicked text message for husband to call him ASAP. Husband is still pissed off that brother-in-law 2's wife and daughter-in-law joined Magda to try and bully me into submitting to her will. He doesn't return their texts or calls. Yeah, why not stir up the whole family, you know? Get everybody in on the shenanigans!
It's good for the kids if it's good for the adults.
Probably husband should return the message or the call at some point and tell them to go screw, but he's just a noodle spot. Like I said in the last episode, can't even stand up to his own mother. Scared little baby boy. After getting a flurry of panic text, all from his brothers and cousins, husband finally calls his father-in-law. Well, American Express called father-in-law. The furniture store refused to refund Magda after I refused her delivery. She tried to get it charged back, claiming fraud. The furniture store called the house number instead of Magda's cell phone. Father-in-law picks up the phone, and the owner told father-in-law he could fuck himself and they're banned from the store because of Magda's behavior. I mean, let's not be too hasty, store owner. She did spend a few $1,000, but yeah, she's a lot to deal with too. I don't know if she's really worth it. A blowout fight between Magda and father-in-law then ensues. Magda leaves in a dramatic fashion. She doesn't come or call Friday night, but by Saturday afternoon, he logged into the mobile bank to see that Magda made a sizable cash withdrawal in a branch near an out-of-the-way airport. She took a plane somewhere, but father-in-law can't tell where, and United put him on hold for 45 minutes before he finally gave up. Come on, don't give up. That's what they want you to do. You gotta wait them out. As soon as you get somebody on the line, you say, "What's your name?" And then you get disconnected, you call back and ask for that person's name again. "I'm old, I'm retired, I've got all day to terrorize you. Give me what I want." Telling you, I can't wait to be old, man. Husband recounts all this to me while I'm playing video games with young son, and I'm pretty much ignoring it because this is just more escalation of her bullshit. It wasn't until he said, "Let it slip that mom redesigned her medication regimen," then I actually paid attention. Awesome. An improperly medicated psycho's running around without any major financial constraints. Awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this town's going to hell. Look out for Magda, driving her old Buick. So short she can't even really see over the steering wheel. You know those little old ladies in Buicks?
Muriel? Yes, Mavis? Do you know that you've just gone through a red light?
It's hilarious. Yesterday morning, brother-in-law 3's daughter, Tammy, Magda's #1 scapegoat, called her parents upset because Magda showed up at her door disheveled and wearing sweatpants, crying hysterically about needing to reunite her family. Oh my God. I don't really want to deal with this today. Can you come back tomorrow? Magda lives in Southern California. Tammy lives in Virginia, and not anywhere close to a major airport. So Magda has gone cross-country with her drama. Beautiful! Magda is in Tammy's house, terrifying her great-grandchildren that she's never met before by carrying on. Honestly, I can't believe Tammy let her in, considering they've been in no contact for at least 5 years. Yeah, it's been working for the 5 years. Why change things now? I guess her heart just melted. You see Grandma show up at the door and you're like, oh, goddamn, come on. It's cold outside. Come inside and tell me what the hell you want. Tammy agrees to let Magda stay there until father-in-law gets there. He'll book the next flight out. What kind of sense does this make? What? Magda flips out when she hears this plan and leaves. Tammy tells father-in-law that she doesn't really give enough of a damn to chase after her. Swoon! I'm not sure why we're swooning. I guess because Tammy sticks to her guns. Look, Magda, you can stay here until somebody comes to pick you up. Then you gotta get the hell out of here. But now she's an escapee. She's on the lam from her husband with nothing but a bindle, the can opener, and some baked beans in it. Hobo Magda. Magda does the same thing to brother-in-law 2's daughter, Bambi, in New Jersey. Dude, really, just the whole eastern seaboard, huh? Granddaughter comes home from work to Magda crying again hysterically about wanting to reunite the family. The building manager let her into the apartment. Well, what a fucking failure on their part. Bambi and Magda had been estranged for a long time too. Bambi was at least expecting something because Tammy texted all of her cousins warning them. She kept it cool, gave Magda a shit ton of Xanax and a glass of wine. She was passed out long enough to be collected by father-in-law. There you go, hit her with the tranquilizer dart. Don't even do that, just she'll hit herself with the tranquilizer dart. She drinks it right down, she loves it. So, this isn't the first time that Magda's gone off her meds and had a ragey meltdown at someone she didn't like in the first place and then gone off on a spending spree. This is the third time she's done it. The first 2 times we were living in Florida, so the family decided to just not tell husband. Oh yeah, sweep it under the rug, that'll fix it. This all sounds so fucking ridiculous, says OP. When I vented about all this to my mom, she just threw up her hands. She feels sorry for my white people problems. Bro, you married your white people problems and then you want to throw it around like a pejorative? Get the fuck out of here. Nah. I'm not having it. I am not having it. Yes, this is total NC time. Was that North Carolina time? I don't understand. I told husband that father-in-law also needs to be cut off. He's enabled this behavior for far too long. Yeah, as has husband, as has basically anybody she interacts with. She just bulldozes them. I'm thinking also about changing hospitals to have my baby. I'm paranoid that husband's family isn't going to properly deal with Magda just to bring her back to Southern California. I am so mad at her mental health crises. I'd feel less guilty if she was her regular asshole self. I don't think you need to feel guilty at all. She knows what's wrong with her. She's taken steps to not remain medicated. So, mental illness or not, these are still the consequences of your own actions. You've been informed about this thing, about yourself. And instead of using it to make yourself better, you're just using it as an excuse. And I don't like that none too much. Anyway, next post is Magda's intervention. That's right, you have to eat all the pills, Magda. Eat them! After Magda's epic freak out and impromptu visit to the East Coast to harass and stalk her North Carolina granddaughters, she has returned to Southern California. Oh, goody gumdrops. All total, she visited 3 of her 5 granddaughters, Tammy, Bambi, and Renee. All have been, non-contact granddaughters. I'm so dumb. Sorry, everybody. Yes, all have been non-contact with Magda for at least 5 years. When father-in-law collected Magda from Bambi's, she escaped the hotel, drove from South New Jersey to upstate New York to Renee's house. She's on the lam. She's done it again.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Renee especially hates Magda because Magda stopped paying her college tuition when she wouldn't break up with her Jewish boyfriend's now husband. She converted, they got married, she finished college and moved upstate. Their wedding was the best family event with husband's family that I'd ever gone to, mostly because his parents weren't there. This is where I got hip to raising Google. Google this stuff and get into it. What, you want us to put some smear on it? I'm not big into raisins. Kugel's nice, though. It's just what Jewish people call casserole. I like me a nice green bean kugel. Anyway, Magda shows up at Renee's house, pounding on the door, screaming about family unity. Renee's mother-in-law calls the cops, and Magda gets arrested. Oh, the fleeing fugitive has finally been caught. Father-in-law finally catches up with her, and they take her on the next flight back to LA from Buffalo. Booking a flight last minute like that, it must cost a bundle. What does father-in-law do? Why does he continue to put up with Magda's shit? I got a lot of questions. Anyway, brother-in-law 1 puts together an intervention at his house. His marriage is on the rocks right now because this isn't Magda's first mental health meltdown that he's had to deal with. His mother-in-law, Linda, witnessed Magda's racist freakout at me at their Super Bowl party. Remember? Linda has known my family for a long time. She taught at the school that we went to. Linda's been talking in her daughter's ear about how she should divorce brother-in-law 1. He is desperate to get his mom reined in. I mean, you can't divorce your husband because of the actions of his mother. However, maybe you can divorce him over the inaction over the actions of his mother. Does that make sense? Husband refused to go to this intervention. His brothers begged him and he completely refused. He said Magda is dead to him, and dead people can't have interventions. I'm proud of him for that. I mean, he's not even really addressing the issue. He's just like, I'm gonna ignore it forever now. It's not really gonna get the whole thing sorted, but I don't know, baby steps, I guess. At least he's taking a stand for something, for once. Fucking man-child. When they came back on Wednesday night, Bambi calls me to let me know that they're going to have an intervention. Father-in-law and husband's brother thinks the girls are coming for support. Renee and Tammy's brother, who's in the Navy on a boat somewhere, will be Skyping in. They had the meeting this morning. Bambi is a mastermind. She had father-in-law, husband's brothers, the GC grandson, and his wife say supportive, loving things about how they want to get help for her mental issues and prescription addictions. When it was the girls' turn to talk, each of them gave Magda a cease and desist letter, which all said a variation of, I'm only coming to your funeral to make sure you're dead. Yeah, drive a stake through her heart or else she's just gonna sit back up. I've seen this before. Father-in-law was pissed because he paid for airfare and rental cars and hotels for everyone. An argument ensued about how ungrateful everyone is. Father-in-law scolded his son for raising such bitches for daughters. Your father-in-law is really the worst form of enabler, isn't he? He's like, I'm gonna join her in that boat floating out to sea all alone. If you don't join me, well, you're just a hater. I mean, we all choose paths, but maybe a different one would be better. Magda had another tantrum, screaming about how nobody loves her, and she's made so many sacrifices for her family, and she should just end herself, blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, Magda agreed to do the 90-day rehab program. I don't know if 90 days is going to be enough to fix whatever the hell's going on here, but good luck. You can at least get off the pills in 90 days, right? Except for the prescription ones you actually need, the antipsychotics. Risperidone, good for what ails you. Risperidone, you're standing in it. Risperidone, now with Super AIDS. Try Risperidone now from ReddX Industries. The website made that place look way more like a spa than a rehab. Well, I'm liking that. I want to go too. I'm sure she'll love the daily individual and group therapy sessions, Reiki massages, and horseback riding on the beach. That really is a fucking California rehab, isn't it? At least the rich people rehab. You don't want to see the poor people rehab. They strap you to a bed and, like, never give you methadone. Sorry, dude, methadone wasn't in the budget. You're just gonna have to stay strapped to that bed and puke until you feel better or die. Most people don't die. Probably is fine. OP says, on the plus side, my baby shower's tomorrow. And husband's nieces are in town, so they get to come. Our lawyer friend sent a sternly worded letter with Magda's photo to the hospital that I'm having the baby at. My OB got me in touch with the hospital's risk management department. I'm registered privately with a flag on my chart to only admit husband and my older brother's wife, who's sort of like my second mom. My stepkids are staying with my parents while I'm in the hospital. I feel a lot better now that I know that Magda is being fawned over in rehab. Yeah, a little break, little 90 days, 3 months. Hey, hell of a thing. Take full advantage of it. She's gonna come back with a fervor. I'm sure of it. Long as this freaking saga is, boy, let me tell you. So, Magda announced the birth of my son on Facebook. Oh, we're getting into that good social media drama. I wanted to announce it first, but I couldn't because I was in the hospital. Come on, just, it's fine, isn't it? We're having a lot of fight. Do we need to add another fight to the list? I'm just asking. OP says, thankfully, I'm on baby high still, so I'm not as upset as I could be. Good, it's a piddly fight anyway. I gave birth to my beautiful baby boy yesterday, March 17th, 2016, just after midnight. I had an easy, short labor with a perfectly healthy baby. I was in the hospital for about 12 hours. This was a nice, easy end to an emotionally difficult pregnancy. I'm glad after everything my nutso mother-in-law put me through, at least birthing the goddamn baby was a breeze. I mean, by comparison, most things would be. I'll walk through broken glass and nails as long as it's away from Magda. My brother-in-law's mother-in-law, Linda, just called me asking why Magda announced the birth of my baby on Facebook with photos, and she sent me screenshots. My youngest big kid texted those pictures to her, along with the vitals. Magda wrote a pitiful paragraph about how sad she was that her grandson's birth was tainted by animosity from me. Oh, yeah, there's the rub. Okay, you really committed to this? You want the fucking smoke? Let's do this, publicly, on the wall. Our friends and families will be the judge, and nobody will ever let us forget this day. To battle! OP says, my God, it's like it never ends. I was foolish to think that she would actually stay in rehab through the birth of her grandbaby. I'm so thankful for my sister-in-law, my oldest bro's wife, and my second mom for being here, so at least I know Magda won't get into my house. But fuck, man, I don't know what to do with the boy. I can't even look at him right now because I feel so violated. Who's the boy? The baby? Don't blame the baby for none of this. The youngest big kid is the one that texted. I think that's the one OP's talking about. What were her kids? 12, 14, 16? 14, 16, old enough to see through the bullshit. 12-year-old, still hanging in there for now. Give him another year or so. He's gonna go no contact too. OP says, I hate Magda because she is the master manipulator and knows exactly how to get under the kid's skin. Yeah, just buy him stuff. On the other hand, he was told directly by me and his father that he is not to communicate with her. I wish beating him with a sock full of pennies would make me feel better and remedy the situation. Yeah, we're definitely not talking about the baby. I mean, kids get to make their own choices. You explain to them the cost-benefit analysis, and then by the end of it, once they're equipped with all the facts that they probably didn't pay attention to, you gotta let them make their own decision. And sometimes that decision is really dumb. But oh well. Next post, Malicious Magda really lives up to her name. I'll be honest, I believe you. I didn't actually need any proof of that. The stories thus far have been the proof. But go on. My mother-in-law is a psycho a-hole, and the biatch bot can fill you in. Oh, look at all these neat bots for the summer. I need to figure out one of those for r/ReddX reads. Then it'll be way easier to link the sagas together. Oh. Okay, anyway. It's been quiet after the Facebook fiasco. Usually is. My sister-in-law Sylvia is taking care of me. Cooking, cleaning, handling the big kids. I've been lounging around the house with the baby, getting breastfeeding down. 2 weeks after the baby was born, husband had to go to Asia for a work thing. So he just regularly abandons you and okay, don't let my mother-in-law harass you. It's a really weird dynamic to me. Is he really in Asia for the work thing? Is he watching the ping pong show, huh?
You want to see a ping pong show?
This has been planned for the last 2 years, so it was expected and unavoidable. Wowee, must have been a hell of a show. April 20 is a hard day for me. I was in a pretty bad car accident while pregnant with my boyfriend Victor. He died and I lost the baby. Holding baby Mo, the exact copy of husband, is a little bittersweet. Victor was my first everything, and we were about to get married. It was absolutely devastating, and I still managed to graduate college with a double major and good grades. That is so heavy. Kinda came out of left field. I'm sorry for your loss. Who was driving? I should probably wait a little while before asking who was driving. It's fine, you don't have to tell me. I'm a sick individual. In our living room, husband and I have a little shrine for our departed loved ones. The first time Magda saw the shrine, she got really weird for the rest of her trip to visit us. She always wanted to come visit us in April, under the guise of Easter, and I let her. Without fail, she would say something snarky when I would be glum around this time of the year. How could I be sad when I had this beautiful family? Why aren't I happy with the big kids? Yeah, and it's definitely not something that you ever want to go into with Magda, because she's going to use it as a knife to stab you the first chance she gets, essentially. Do you think OP is going to open up? Reveal her weakest point? Oh, man. So, during the month of April, I light a candle and say a prayer for Victor and my lost daughter. 1 year, I caught Magda blowing it out. I don't know why I didn't call her out. I just relit the candle. Okay, so maybe Magda does know the whole story, but she doesn't like that OP has had men before her little baby boy. You must focus all of your attention on him all the time, always. Just like me. That's how he turned out so well adjusted. Yeah, well, he's not, but we're not going to go into that either. Just relight the candle. It's fine. Last year, Magda told me it's inappropriate to light candles for him because we weren't married and it was a long time ago. But she has no problem lighting candles for husband's departed wife. Insanely hypocritical, but yeah, I'd expect nothing less. Today, Magda sends me a large angel-themed flower arrangement. I was gonna post a picture, but my oldest stepson's a Redditor and asked me not to. It's very large, like something you would see in a funeral. I was by myself. Sylvia took the big kids to school and was running errands. The attention to detail is stunning. Magda knows exactly where to go to really make it hurt. She's using the memory of your very own first love to gut you. Like, this is psychological horror on another level. Tell me about the arrangement, OP. She doesn't. She didn't accept it. I didn't let the delivery guy bring it inside. After he left, I put baby Mo in the swing and then ugly cried next to the beautiful flowers. Wait, so you did bring it inside or you didn't? Whatever. But yes, sending an over-the-top funeral arrangement to somebody who is clearly trying to move on while still remembering the past, yeah. This blows my mind. This is some next-level evilness. Now Magda has tainted his name. Oh my god, I'm spinning out of control. Okay, we gotta continue on. OP says, I grieved for the family that I wish husband could have. Since Magda's meltdown during the Super Bowl, there's a sadness in his eyes when we're with my side of the family. He grew up cared for by a yearly changing nanny and housekeeper. It hurts him to know that he was really only just a lifestyle accessory. Yeah, that part does suck. You need to connect with your kids. You made them. Don't you like them? Hang out with them sometime. Jesus. I love husband dearly, but sometimes I miss Victor so much that it hurts. I still hurt for my lost daughter. I was with him for 6 years. Our family are close friends. That life was stolen from me by the drunk asshole who crashed into us and didn't leave with a single scratch. Good Lord, man, that really only makes the hurt even deeper. It wasn't anybody's fault, really, except for that guy who never had to suffer. Or he probably, he's suffering. But I didn't get to see his suffering. I wanted to witness it. Would it make you feel better? Probably not. But yes, your story has touched me, OP. You've spoken to me deeply. I apologize for asking who was driving earlier. Straight serious face for reals, okay? I will still remain skeptical of OP, however, because it's her post where she tries to make herself look good, so you sort of gotta read between the lines to see, like, how they're antagonizing each other. But as far as I can tell, 90% of this is just Magda being a tyrant and OP, holding the line or lashing out in her small way. So despite my deep sympathy, yeah, I still want to see the whole story for what it is, if I'm able. OP says, when I was done crying at the flowers, a wave of cold, dark, aching sadness hit me. This was different from the bitter tears of exhausted frustration. Seeing those flowers made me remember 1,000 memories of Victor all at once. Then I think about crying so hard in my hospital bed, stitches. I cuddle my tiny baby, thankful that he's healthy and alive. Yeah, how can you ever encapsulate that sort of torrent of emotion with just mere words? Words are so powerful, but also, insignificant at the same time. OP says, I hate her so much. I've always been kind, polite, and compromising with her, and she used it against me. I put up with Magda's bullshit for so long, and then when I put my foot down, she tries to alienate my youngest big kid from me and taunts me about my departed partner and lost daughter. I try not to really think about it, but I imagine myself dancing in a red dress on her grave. You can make that happen. It's only a matter of time. I could really use a blunt the size of my infant son's arm, but I'm breastfeeding. More for me, I guess. The idea of pump and dump makes me really sad, but I bring myself to do it. I hate 420 so much. OMFG. I wish the stoner holiday wasn't tainted by this. Yeah, seems like a day for some strange, terrible things to happen. I've had my own 420 experiences, but I think we'll cover that when we go back to experimenting with the Arrowhead, trip reports, right? Anyway, let's move on into the next Magda story. Father-in-law died, and Magda is loving the attention. Yeah, I bet she just feels nothing. She's like, oh, more for me.
Tell him to bring me my money.
Yeah, he's dead. I gotta spend it all before the kids manage to get any of it. It's not gonna go well. OP says, so yeah, father-in-law died on Monday, 5/9/2016. He had a heart attack in the shower, likely dead before he hit the floor. Yeah, that cold water, that's a shock to the system. That's why you gotta start at your feet. Don't just dump cold water on your head. Especially if you're a real old man. Oh! My sister-in-law Linda called me to inform me of the news. The call was mostly a warning of the memorial service and funeral plans that Magda had. Magda is holding court in her house, enjoying being the grieving widow, while her daughter-in-laws flutter around the house entertaining guests. I mean, grieving widow should be in the spotlight, at least a little bit, you know? You knew this person better than probably anybody else. But the sussy part is, you probably shouldn't enjoy being in the spotlight this much, right? Father-in-law was a very successful businessman in his industry. Many people in his industry will be there networking their asses off, Getting invited to this memorial service is a major professional coup. Magda is very aware of this, and she is loving it. I mean, kinda it's cool, you know, people showed up and stuff, but I really hope my funeral is not about the industry that I worked in. Especially if that work is not intensely personal, like this work is. I don't want a YouTube funeral. Well, what makes you think I want a businessman and business dealings funeral? That's sad. You spend your whole life and then, yeah, the world don't stop spinning. Oh, Jesus. Throw me into a bit of a crisis with all that, OP. Okay, anyways. I checked my Magda folder, and sure enough was the summons to the memorial service and funeral with instructions on an appropriate dress. It is fucking laughable, and I'm leaning towards not going at all. Husband is in Asia for another 6 weeks. Yeah, and he can't be interrupted for the death of his father. It's really weird, man. This whole thing is dysfunctional. In what way, I can't put my finger on it quite yet, but I don't know. Some really weird stuff is going on. So the instructions specified that the boys, including the baby, are to wear black suits, white shirts, black ties. The older boys are to tie their ties in a half Windsor knot, father-in-law's favorite. It is acceptable for the baby to have a clip-on tie. Why would you not go for the full Windsor? What's wrong with you? Does he have a little bit of a gut? He's trying not to make the tie too short so it sits on top and looks funny? That's what's going on, isn't it? Lose some weight. Do a full Windsor, man. Looks way better. I guess it doesn't matter now. He's dead. Damn it. Yeah, condolences. Magda lost her biggest enabler, now we can throw her in a home. Invitation says, daughter and I are to wear black dresses. The necklines should be high, shoulders and elbows covered. The hem of our dresses should be no shorter than 1 inch above our knees, no bare legs, and no flat shoes. Our hair and makeup will need to be professionally done. If we go to her regular salon, they'll bill her for the services. This already sounds like a lot of work. Like, I would want to pay condolences to my father, but I think I could do that in my own way, in my own time. I don't need to be there for, like, the burial and stuff. You show up to the gravestone, you're like, hey, Dad, it's been a while, you know? Sorry I missed the whole to-do, but I'll catch you up on some things. Do you think that's crazy? I don't think that's crazy. That's what I do with my father-in-law. Wifey and I and the kids will go out and just talk to him. It helps. I think that helped more than, like, the whole service thing. Because that was just about people and their stupid bullshit. Like, these times that we go out to the graveyard, like, that is about Dad, you know? Anyway, whatever. Another tangent. Instructions said husband needs to come back from Asia for the funeral. He won't answer her calls, so it's up to me to convince him. He needs to be here for this difficult time for the family. If he absolutely cannot leave, Skyping will be marginally acceptable. Oh, marginally, my goodness. I do wish that business dealings could be put on pause, or giant pile of coke and hookers, depending on what husband's actually doing, could be put on pause. But like I said, man, the world keeps on turning, and it's like you kind of got to do what you got to do. How much do you value the job? How much do you value your father-in-law? Weigh these two things against each other. I cannot determine what's right for him because I don't know his relationship with father-in-law. He's definitely a mama's boy, but I think father-in-law was, like, mostly working. He's probably the type that's still intimidated by his father. I don't think he's gonna show up. He's real busy. Instructions also said there will be professional photographers documenting the memorial service, funeral mass, and burial. It is vitally important that we are photo ready. Some of these photos will be published in the major trade publication of father-in-law's industry. Oh my goodness. We're really hitting the big time, aren't we? That's all she thinks about. How can you care this much about climbing the social ladder at the end of your life? Just to give yourself some semblance of meaning? Be like, yeah, I really did something. Yeah, you got published in a business magazine for business. Congratulations. OP says, y'all, I wish I had more eyes to roll over these instructions. From what my sister-in-law told me, Magda's meltdown at me really did father-in-law in. After the intervention, he really started going downhill. Interesting connection there. Husband and I haven't talked about his father dying. I figure when he's ready to talk to me about it, he'll talk. Right now, he's on a career-defining business trip. The last thing I want to talk to him about when we have Skype dates is his father's death. Yep, that's one of those things that you can't pull out of somebody. It took wifey a good 6 months to finally say, I miss him. I miss Dad so much. And instead of focusing on the fact that he's gone, I tell her some of my favorite memories from the few years that I knew him. Then that gets her talking about the good moments, and she's laughing and smiling, and yeah, it's supposed to be a happy thing. It's sad right now, but I'm pretty sure we're all going to meet up again one way or the other. Maybe that means heaven. Maybe that means we're part of the same rain cloud someday. I don't really know. What I do know is energy can never be created or destroyed. This has been like a super existential episode. I don't know what the hell's going on. Some heavy themes here. Anyway, yeah, OP, your husband will spill it when he's ready, right? When I told the big kids that father-in-law died, my middle kid rolled her eyes and said, "Why couldn't the Lord take her too? They have decided that they will not go." Jesus, I mean, that's pretty callous. Then again, 14 and 16, they really don't know what these things mean. 5, 10 years down the road, they'll probably have a flickering thought of like, I should have gone. But it won't get past that. Ego won't allow it. Wise women of Just Snow Mill, what should I do? Tell me about your experiences. I love you all so much. It is a really good subreddit. I think it's generally considered uncouth to lift directly from the subreddit because it's supposed to be a self-help type of thing. At least that's what I was told the singular time that I tried it. But Malicious Magda, she transcends boundaries in every way that you can possibly shift and shape that word. There's also an update. Hey! I had a long conversation with dear husband last night, and I made him talk about the logistics of his father's death. He is not coming home from Asia. He said, quote, "I am missing my son's first few months of life for this project. I can easily miss father-in-law's funeral. If he comes back early, well, he'll have to go back." He's also forwarded me several emails Magda sent to him, bad-mouthing me. Oh, I'd love to read some of those, if you'd be so kind. It sounds at least that husband has his priorities straight regarding that. He don't need no advice from me. He knows where his loyalty lies. Gonna end up just like his dad. No friends at his funeral, just a bunch of business people doing business things. But if, you know, that's what you're up for, then that's what you're up for. Husband's aunt, Carol, father-in-law's younger sister, wants me to sit at the mass and burial with her. Her husband passed away a few years ago, and her kids weren't able to fly from Florida for the funeral. Good alliteration there. We're very close, and I'm honored that she wants me there. Magda and Carol had a major falling out back in the 90s. Carol is the bigger bitch, so Magda steers clear. Oh my, a new challenger appears. Carol assures me that at no point will Magda come anywhere near me. Father-in-law's brother's children and grandchildren are attending, and they will make sure that we are surrounded. Yeah, got your own little secret service team there, huh? I'm not attending the public memorial service. I have a couple of dark color pantsuits I can get into with some Spanx and a prayer. I'm not all capitulating to Magda's dress code. My attire at these two events will lean heavily towards soft butch. I mean, to be fair, OP, somebody's got to be the butch in your relationship. OP says, my youngest big kid is taking this better than I expected. He's still without computer and phone privileges after sending Magda photos of the baby. He's working in my uncle's recording studio after school to keep him busy, and it's really improved his musical abilities. Yeah, that sounds like a kick-ass internship. The reading of father-in-law's will is today at noon. I'm on high alert for Magda to come over afterwards, crying about her family and wanting to see the baby. Luis is working on my yard this afternoon. Magda might get hosed. Again. Well, let's all just hope for that, you know? And that bookends this episode pretty nicely. I hope you enjoyed it, friends. If you did, like, comment, sub. On the end card, I'm linking a random playlist that we haven't seen in a while. It's Crackhead Craig's List. Hey, I'd like to try out some more visual content in 2024. You could show YouTube that you're interested in that, aside from the text stories, by clicking on through. And I thank you so much if you do. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be